All right, math part 2. In the second part of this math section of Java, we're going to be looking at unary math operators. Now, what are unary math operators? So remember in the last video how I said that there are two sorts of operators. There's binary operators, which had two operands, and unary operators, which have one operand. So unary math operators have a single operand. And now let's look at what this really means. So there are two main deviations. Two main deviations in unary math operators. We have prefix and we have postfix. And we'll look at them in a second. And each one of them actually has two different categories. We have incrementation and we have decrementation. So one that goes up and one that goes down. Let's just put this right here as well. Right about there. All right, cool. So there we go. We have incrementation and decrementation. So for this example, I'm going to use x as our variable. We have int x. I'm just going to use that. So incrementation for prefix would look something like plus plus x. So we do it before the variable. And then prefix decrementation would look something like minus minus x, which is before the variable. All right. So then postfix incrementation would obviously look like the opposite of prefix. It'll look like x plus plus. And then for decrementation, it'll look like x minus minus. And I use postfix more, and we're going to see why we use postfix more. We're going to see that in loops, all right? So now we've got the basic understanding: prefix, incrementation, prefix, decrementation. So what the real difference is between prefix and postfix? Well, prefix changes the variable first. It changes the variable first and then does the action. So what I'm saying is it changes the variable first. It either increments it or decrements it, and then it commits the action. Postfix is, again, the polar opposite of that. It does the action, or it completes its purpose, then changes the value. Not changes the variable, changes the value. Changes the value in the variable. Now let's look at some quick examples of prefix and postfix. Let's look at some examples. All right. So let's suppose I have int x, which is equal to 8. I have int y, which is equal to 5. And int z stores the stores whatever I'll do next to x and y. It will go prefix decrementation of x plus y. And then I'm going to say system dot out dot print ln x plus a space plus y plus a space plus z. Okay, so let's look at what the output will be over here. So int x is equal to 8, so we know that x is equal to 8, y is equal to 5, and over here we want int z is equal to prefix decrementation of x. So prefix, what did I say prefix was? It changes the value first and then does the action. And remember, unary math operators do have precedence over binary math operators, so we're always going to do the unary operator first. That means we're always going to do the minus minus or plus plus first. So minus minus x, that's a prefix decrementation. So that means it originally held 8, but now we first change it. So it's going to store 7. And then we're going to add 5 to that. So we get z, which is equal to 12. So we get 7 space 5 space 12. All right, now let's look at another similar example. Let's look at another similar example. And in this one, we're actually going to have, x minus minus instead of minus minus x. And how does this change something? Well, now, x is still 8 initially. Then y is now, y is still 5. And now here, again, unary math operators take precedence over binary math operators. So we're going to do the unary math operator first. And now that we see x minus minus, we see that it is a postfix. So it does the action first using the same variable value it currently has. Then it changes the value that the variable stores. So the current one, it's 8 plus 5. So here we're doing the action first because it's a postfix. So we get 13. And then we go ahead and see that, oh, well, it says x minus minus. So now we're going to change the value in the variable. So now it's going to hold 7. So it does the action first using 8, does the action first, gives us 13. Then we say, oh, it's a postfix. So then after it does the action, it changes the value in the variable, makes it 7. So we get 7, 5, 13.